Hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? Okay, so let's continue with the habit tracker. Yesterday we basically connected our existing frontend to the backend. So we have, API action going on. Now it's time to connect our backend to the database. And for that, we basically need to define some kind of schema in our database. So yeah, let's get straight into that. There we go. So let's look at our backend for now. So on our backend, we have we connect to our database, we inject it as a provider, and that's pretty much it. In our habit endpoints, when we get habits, we just return hard-coded stuff so far. Sure, we have an ability to add to it, but all it is just a list of the habit, which is not much. It's just when it was created, name, and that's literally it. So let's think how we want to do the schema thing here. All right. So within the backend, what do I want to do within the backend? I guess so. For now, we'll create a schema directory. We'll just plop it somewhere here. There we go, schema. So let's create new, habit surql, right? So this will be our SurrealQL file for defining the schema. So what we need to define here is basically our habit table that has the created at date, and we need the name of the habit. That'll be string. And in theory, for the database, we could have like updated at, and then we should handle, we should prepare for handling deletions. So I would say instead of like a flag, deleted or something, let's do deleted at, and this will be an datetime or null if there's nothing, or in SurrealDB that will be none. So do we need anything else for the habit itself? I know that eventually it would be, history, and that would be like an history entry and a list. So that's the goal. But like I mentioned before, we have this problem where the history can be many entries, could be hundreds of entries. So we don't really want to keep them inside of this document because they will be growing unnecessarily. And every time we need to retrieve, I don't know, just the name or list the names of the habits, we would need to basically fetch that additional data, which would be a little bit excessive. So that will go in separately. So I'll remove that, and I guess this is our goal. So let's look at the docs to, SurrealDB, and look at the query language to just get a refresher on our how to create the queries, right? So SurrealDB, SurrealQL, and there we go. Not data types. We want define, because we want to define table. Okay. So I'm gonna copy that and paste it here, and let's see what we need to do. So I'm gonna do define table override because basically, I want this schema to be working in a way that I can just copy it, paste it, and this will apply everything, update everything. This way I can keep developing it. And the name will be habit, okay? Because in SurrealDB, you want them singular, you don't want them plural. This way, something like an ID for something will be habit and some kind of code, right? It makes sense, like, oh, we're dealing with a single habit. So that's that. We're not dropping. And now the question, schema full or schema less? In our case, this is quite rigid. We don't want to hold any unexpected additional data. So I would say we're going with schema full. We don't want any surprises. So what schema full would do is that if we're going to try to save a habit with, I don't know, an additional field of description or something, right? It will be dropped. Although description will be a cool thing to add, in my opinion. We can always extend it in the front end and see how that works. All right, so that will be schemeful, and then we have type any normal relation. So we can skip that because by default, this not being any relation or anything, it's just normal, so we're good. This in from is for relations, and enforced, again, that's for relations. We don't care about that. This is not a projection, nothing crazy. We don't need any change feeds, no permissions, no comment, nothing. So that's our table. We just define our table. Now what we need to do is define the actual fields. So let's grab those and kind of move them around. And we'll just tackle the fields one by one. So let's do field, and this will be a little bit more complex. Not crazy, but a little bit more. So let's start with this created at. So created at will be a field when the object was created. So in practice or whatever, we just basically, we can let the database set it once and never ever update it, because the whole goal is that, hey, we just record when it was created, and that should never change, right? Because it's like, bookkeeping. So in our case, let me just get rid of this, call it created at on. The whole table is optional, so we'll just say on habit. Okay. So now let's see. Flexible. No, flexible will be if we want to have an object with whatever there is. It's not on delete or nothing. And here we can have something like default. What is the default value? Kind of could be fun, but we don't want that. We want the value. Because you know that we have default, we have read-only, value, and all those things. I can already get rid of all this. So default would be that, hey, we didn't provide any value to it when creating an object. It's gonna set itself to whatever it is. So in practice, I mean, I could do, how was it? Date time now? I think it was a little bit different. But we could do that and then mark it as read-only, and therefore it would assign itself. But the problem here would be that if we're creating an object, the habit, and we actually provide our own data, I mean, date for when it was created, it will be overridden. So we don't want that. We want the keyword value. This will basically say, hey, ignore whatever was given here. We just want to override it with something else. In our case, it will be, how was it datetime now? I keep forgetting those little details. Data types. Date times. we will have just strings. We don't have our now. Or was it time functions? Time now. There we go. And this should make it that, hey, created at, automatically sets itself to whatever time it is now. And even during update or anything, it won't change. It just won't. I wonder if we can make it read only. Possibly. Why not? We'll see if that happens. So while we're doing that, let's open up Surrealist. And yeah, we're on Java Habit Tracker, so we're connected to the correct database. Let's just go to our query and, first of all, let's create our table. Let's see if that works. Bam, worked. So next thing now is to try to create that thingy here, right? The field created that. With this read-only thing, it works, all right? So what if we're going to try to do create a habit, right? Can I just do literally that? Run? Yeah, there you go. There's our new habit. We've just created that. So can we do update habit set created at is time now? Can we do that? Found change value for field created at with record habit, but field is read only. See, we cannot change it. If we wouldn't have that read only, I believe it would want to update itself with the new current time, which is something that we strangely want to do with updated at. So let's try that. So our alright updated at, that should just have the value. Therefore, again, the database will automatically, calculate it for us. And in this case, it will always recalculate it as a new thing. So let's create a new habit. Run. This is our ID. This is our new habit. Oh, wait. We need to add the field. There we go. We create a new habit. Now we have both created at and updated at. They even show the same time, so that's nice. Even though we're kind of calling it twice, but that's fine. So now let's get that ID and let's try to actually update it. I mean, it probably won't do anything for us because we can't change anything yet. So let's quickly add the name. All right, so it'll be define field override, and this will be name on habit, but we're missing one thing. Where is the type definition for it? Define field. There we go. Type something. So we should actually do type date time. Where's the examples of type? I think it's actually lowercase. So now is an example of the situation where I can, because I have override keyword, I can just plop it here. Bam. Try to execute everything. But yeah, I updated. It's fine. We're gonna copy the same thing here. Select it and run, and we just update it. So when we go to our designer, we can see that our habit has created and updated both as a date time. So now let's move on to defining our name. So this will be type string. We always want a name. Value anything, we're not doing that because we want, to allow to change it and be a modifiable value. But what we want to do here is add an assert. So we want to specify, hey, a name has to have at least 3 letters. So let's take a peek. And we probably have asserting rules on fields. Maybe a string as email or something. Maybe that's what we want to do. Or we can do something more complex. Assert that input is divisible by 2. Otherwise, whatever. That kind of thing. We can do that. So let's look at not data types, but actual functions for a string. Because I guess it's just length, right? len. There we go. String.len. And we can go back and notice that $sign value is how we get the value passed into the query for the assert. So in our case, we'll do that value .length is larger than 2. That's basically what we want. And I think that should be enough for definition of our field. So let's try to run a query and test it out. None for, of course, because I'm trying to run everything. There we go. So let's create a new habit for now. And this will be like, oh, sorry, we found nothing for the field name. Therefore, we need to do set name is, what could we do? Habit, whatever, test. That's all we care about now. When we run this, we just create a habit with a name, when it was updated. So let's grab that ID and we're gonna play with that specific habit. So now let's try to update the name to something like test2. And notice that most likely, I'm hoping for it, our updated at will actually change. So look at that. Our updated at is now 25 seconds later. This is because every time we try to update this and any record in that table, this will run again as in, oh, there's a value. I'm supposed to set it to whatever this expression is. I could allow to, that, oh, a value plus this or something, right? I can use whatever was provided as an input, but in this case, I want to always update it to the newest, most up-to-date date, right? So that automatically we always have when it was updated. We don't have to have any code in our backend, nothing special, just that. One line and we have it covered. So we were able to update the name. Let's try to update it to something like 123. Still as a string, right? 3 characters, it should run. There we go, worked. What if I'm gonna do to 2 characters? There we go. Found 12 for field name with record, bam. But field must conform to value length at least 2. So we can see that we get a proper error, informing us that, our assert failed. So yeah, so that's the name. We've got that covered. And in a very similar fashion, we can do description. But with description, we want, description to, we want to allow it to be empty, okay? So we don't need that assertion, but at the same time, maybe we want it to be less than something like 500 characters, just to be safe. Again, this is not a production big thing, so in theory, we don't care about how long this is, but just for the sake of good practice, at least we'll limit to 500 characters. probably a little bit too much, but we don't care. So this will be the description. And right now it's set as string. Therefore, it will always want to have some kind of value. We have two options here. We could make it option of string, and that would make it that we can simply not set it. There's like no value at all. But that means that we, in our assert, we would basically start to make rules like, oh, if it's none, we do this. If it has value, do that. In practice, it might be simpler, also from our backend perspective, to make it that this is type string, but the default value, if not provided, is just an empty string, and that's it. This way, if I'm gonna grab that, apply it here, and run, right? We added that field. If I'm gonna create another habit, you can see the description is already present. It's null, so we will always have it. So we're all good, and we can actually, for now, do update all the habits, where we set the description to empty thing. So we run selection, and oh, there's some without a name as well. So let's do name is. Whew. Can I actually get an ID out of this thing? Can I do ID the table? Something like that? I wonder if I can literally do that. Not table, ID. Never tried that. No. I can't do that. Oh, it tried to literally take the whole record. Let me just quickly check. We should have parse function record functions. Record ID. So from this, it should return that, but it doesn't look like we have the .tb. So let's just do record ID. And we'll extract ID out of our ID, because remember, in SurrealDB, an ID like this, an ID of any kind of record, consists of the table name and the ID part. So extracting an ID out of ID is actually normal. Incorrect arguments for function record ID. Argument 1 was the wrong type. Expected record but found none. Oh, so let me see, because when we're doing update, we should be able to get the actual ID of what we're updating. I just always forget how those things are being updated. So we don't care about data types. That's not it. Not clauses. We have statements. But where are the actual, like, available stuff values? That's the one thing that I always looked for, and I always forgot where this thing exists. Because notice how in, for example, do we still have it here? Yeah, like an assert. Within the assert statement, or clause, or whatever this thing is named, we can reach out to something called value, which is like the value of what was provided when setting this field. So this is the value of this very specific field. But what I want to do is, within my update query, I want to get reference to the entire existing record and extract the ID out of it. So I wonder if I do. I don't remember where to check at. Maybe this.id. Maybe that was the case. Found none for field updated at with record. Oh. That's a new one. We were able to do this before. Now it's just complaining that description is something, right? So we can do that, but here for some reason it just, oh, I guess we have entries that still don't have the updated at or anything like that, right? We have created at, and then we have some records without updated. What I'm gonna do is just, let's get rid of them because that just causes issues. Do we have like delete option? Filter records to select it. There we go. Delete records. And now we don't have that problem. We have few without a name and few without description, like the ones that have a line. So that's that. So I believe we can get back to our query. And I mean, that will reset all the names, but I don't care at this point. Run selection. Okay, now we updated all those where the names are just random. So when we look at something like Explorer, we can see that our names are just the ID part of the ID. So that's fun. Okay, so we took care of description of the string, of date times, and all that fun stuff. The only thing missing is the deleted at. And the whole idea of deleted at is that oftentimes when you delete data from the database, you know, some user clicks, oh, delete this. You don't really want to delete data immediately because probably other things depend on it. It could end up being expensive. Maybe you want to have some extra analytics on when and why things are being deleted, and you have some more complex process, right? So oftentimes you don't want to just delete it. Oh, and another reason is like, hey, we want the user to be able to click undo or contact support like, yo, do you know what? I deleted that by accident. Can you restore it? So in our case, we can do define field override deleted at. And oh, and why not just delete it as a flag and as a boolean? Because that only tells us, yes, we deleted it. Yes, or like, no, we didn't. With something like deleted at, we can specify that this is an optional date time, which means that it can hold either none, which is no value, we didn't delete it, or when we deleted it. So we can run some automated actions like, you know, everything that was deleted, you know, more than 5 days ago, actually deleted, or maybe move it to some other table or something. So that's that. And the default value will be none. Okay. We want to, for now, we can just make it where, hey, if you want, you can set it to something else, like actual date to delete it, or set it back to none to undelete it. And not value, this will be default. There we go. So all that, and it should just start working. Run. And because it has an option of by default being none, everything should work because none means the field doesn't exist. Like there's no actual value. So when we look at our designer, we can see that our habit is complete. We have all the fun things, and deleted at is an option of the date time. Great. But before we finish, let's think a little bit more about the habit itself. Because one rule that we already have is that the frontend was checking, so the rule existed. The frontend was checking that if when adding a new habit, do we already have a habit with the same name? Because we in practice, we don't want two habits with the same name. So we can add that here so that all the names are unique. We don't care about descriptions. We don't care about anything with dates. Just make sure the name is unique. So for that, we can look at define index. So we have many ways to define index, and one of them is unique. So define index we just give it a name on a table user, for example, where email is unique. So this would make sure that, every user's email is unique. We can do it here and basically make sure that this would be maybe habit name index, right? On the table habit, and the columns fields. Can we use fields instead of columns so we have proper naming? Yes, we can use fields. There we go. Fields and columns, it's interchangeable in SurrealDB. Fields is a little bit more of how SurrealDB likes to refer to all those, because you can see like a defined field. Columns exist for the sake of keeping the SQL hard die people happy. That, hey, you can refer to it as a column. I mean, it's because the term field is more of a document database term, while column is more of a relational database table. And in SurrealDB, it's kind of both at the same time. So yeah, I just like to stick to one name, in this case, fields. And the field name will be unique. So when we get this and put it in our database, wait, query. We're gonna run it here. Bam. So we just created the index. It should auto-populate itself. We don't have to run anything else. So if I'm gonna create a habit with a name test, bam, there it is. New habit, empty description, we have name test. If I'm gonna run it again, we'll say, hey, wait, we already have test. We cannot create a new thing. So that's the main idea here. And this is what our backend will use, that, hey, I tried to insert here, but, oh, we can't. And therefore it will fail all the way to the front end, like, sorry, you can't do that. So I think our habit itself is completed. Because we defined that index on just the name, that means we can already search, or like, search through this thing by the name, which is fast. But we can also add additional thing. I mean, we'll have like, what, 10 things, but we are pretending to build something larger, just not super large. Let's do define index, habit, deleted at index. Because in theory, we don't want to, when the user says, hey, show me my habits, whatever, by the user, I mean the front end says, hey, show me the habits, or even backend, we don't want to display the deleted ones, right? Because that will kind of miss the point. So we want to be able to quickly filter out by the deleted at table habit, fields, deleted at, and that's it. This way we define additional index on the deleted at, so it's fast for SurrealDB to figure out that, hey, our filtering by deleted at will be fast. So I guess that's the whole schema. And the magical part about having override is that I just copied the entire thing and I can just paste it here, run it, and we'll update the entire thing. The index already exists and the habit already exists, so I guess I'm missing the override. Yep. So define index override. And we've got it. All good. So our habit is defined. Now let's try to make our backend actually connect to it. So in our habit.dart model, we need to add some things. I don't think we care about created at here. I mean, created at. We don't even need it here, but just in case, let's throw it in. We'll do final date time updated at when the habit was last updated. And what we will care is deleted at, or we don't. I mean, let's do it as an experiment that we'll have a like habit model that would be database model, and then we'll have a separate DTO for actually what we're sending to the front end. So it'll be when the habit was marked as deleted. And this would be final date time question mark deleted at, because it might be never. We've got our habit name, and let's just add habit description. And that's literally it, right? We don't have anything else. Here we have the serialization in theory that we can serialize it to JSON. Oh, and we need creates new habit entry. So this is when we want to create a new habit. And notice that probably when we'll be sending it to database, we'll need to be a little bit more careful than just throwing an object. I kind of like to work with it manually, so we need to specify all this. Created at required for the name, so I guess we need to make everything here. This dot. Can we actually make it default? No, it just doesn't want to create a default thing for us, which is a shame. Updated at. Let's actually kind of do it this way. This way we can. So then we have this dot deleted at. And we can make it required. So we set everything explicitly whenever we create a habit object manually. And then we have name. And let's do description. So this will be a model of a habit that's database wise. Yeah, like from the perspective of the database. I wonder if I can make those default. Is date time now? Will it allow me to that? The default value of an optional parameter must be constant. Oof. That's unfortunate. What if I'm just, I mean, yes and no, because yeah. I don't know how this behaves with this whole serialization. I guess we want to just make it required, and for now, we'll just do, you know what, do whatever you want. And I guess we can do constant habit as some kind of named one where we create it manually. Let's say, can we call it new? or will it be upset with us? We'll be like, unnamed constructor is already defined. Try giving one of the constructors a name. So, okay, so we have something like define apparently, which is interesting. So let's just do manual, whatever. So we will define that we only need to specify the name and description, and that's pretty much it, right? So let's actually not make them named. We'll just say that the name needs to be provided and the description will be this, or I don't know if we can actually set it like that. But why? Oh, because this is a constant constructor. This one doesn't have to be constant constructor. And we still need to make it that created at datetime now. Then we're gonna have the updated at and deleted at will be null by default. So these are somewhat happy. The line exceeds, oh yeah, oh whatever. Can I do this? I guess I can. Hi CPN, how is it going? It's going well. We're making some progress. What about you? Okay, so we've got those three, but this one doesn't like to be set in here as an optional or something. So I guess we can do this. And now we have an optional parameter. There we go. Beautiful. And missing documentation for a public member. Sure. Creates new habit from just a name and description. All the dates and other stuff is whatever. This way we'll be able to receive some data from the front end, create it manually, push it to the database, and it'll be fine. Alrighty. Although I don't know if at that point we'll be doing anything with this. I don't know, we'll see. But we have the full habit now. Espen says, I'm doing good. What happened to that chat overlay you made? I just when I switched to Linux, I did like a copy paste of the setup for OBS, and for some reason the chat overlay and a few other things didn't transfer, and I just didn't bother to connect to it and display it. And in addition, I had some issues with trying to stream to both Twitch and YouTube, so I'm just doing YouTube only. Nobody ever watched on Twitch anyway. So I figured everything's on YouTube anyway, so why do I need an extra chat here while everyone sees it anyway? Don't know. Something like that. Still exists. It's not news. Alrighty. So we've got this. So now we need to go to our actual API endpoint. And instead of having a list of habits here, we can start dealing with SurrealDB, right? So let's start by getting habits. So we already had where we get the database out of our context, the injected thing, whatever they call it, dependence injection. So we've got our reference to the database, and we should be able to just get the data. So the way we're doing it so far is that we can get a list from a single query. So we can reuse that and just update the query to something more appropriate. Okay. In our case, if I want to get all the habits, I would do select whatever everything from habit. If I will do that, I will get everything, but I will also get the ones that are deleted. So it'll be where deleted at is null. I mean, sorry, none, because that's the difference. We have none and null. We run it, and we've got those, which is what we care about. And Sabine is asking, do you use an ORM or something similar? Never mind, it looks like you're raw dogging SQL. Not SQL, this is SurrealQL. Because we're dealing with SurrealDB. So there is no such thing as ORM, at least in Dart. We're actually lucky that we have a working connection to SurrealDB. We don't have to send HTTP requests. Alrighty. So this is good, and this suggests that we need. I hate those required trailing commas. How about this? Still requires trailing comma? Really? I need to put a comma here. Wow. Okay. So this should send out to the database, and we should get a single response to a single query, because this is just a single query. And what else? And it will be a list of dynamic. So that's that. So if everything else goes okay, right? If the query is okay, we can do something with it. So let's continue. And basically, we want to return those habits, right? So we can try to do that to some extent. But right now, we just have query result. If we're gonna say data is the query result dot result, it's just a list of dynamic. I wonder if this will actually work, if I can actually throw in a list of dynamic and it will somehow get properly serialized. I really wonder. But if the query wasn't okay, we can just do something like response and create a new response where the status code is 500 and what is it? Message body will be, and there was a problem with the database. And a comma here? What the hell? Oh, I forgot about the Nazi linter. It's so annoying. Okay, we've got that. We don't need to put in response here because we're already doing all that. And instead of rethrowing here, let's just return the same thing. 500. There was a problem with the database. There was a big problem with the database. Okay, how about that? And now, line limit exceeded. Oh my goodness, this is so annoying. And because of that, we need trailing comma. SPN says SurrealQL can still be shortened to SQL. Yeah, it can be. It's the fun thing. It absolutely can be. What's going on here? Nothing. Good. Okay, so this is unhappy because the body might complete normally, causing null to be returned. So if it's okay, if it's not okay, and really it thinks that there's a chance that we're not returning anything? If this is the case, we're gonna return that. Otherwise, we're always gonna return that. So we never get here. And the catch also always returns. Really? body might complete normally, causing null to be returned, but the return type, future, or response is a potentially non-nullable type. Try adding another return or throw statement at the end. Yeah, let's do throw. How the hell were we doing throw? Let's just do this. The unexpected happened. We save it and it's still unhappy. Because we don't return it, right? Yep, we're missing the return keyword. That's the only reason. Wow, okay. Silly me. Now we don't need it. Good, okay, everything works correctly. So this, in theory, allows us to, fetch everything from the database. The only thing we have untested is the if we can pass the list of dynamic into the JSON serializer and if it's gonna do things correctly. So I saved this. This is unhappy for now. Let's just ignore our post completely and let's run it. What it was, Dart frog dev, and that should start it up. Ooh, this needs to be commented out as well. Okay. On this candidate, but arguments don't match. Required name parameter. Update that must be provided. Ooh, I'm not doing something somewhere? Where is that? Oh, we need to regenerate stuff, right? How on earth was it working? Dart frog. We came Dart. No, wait, not Dart. GitHub. There we go. That leads us to the documentation, to the get started. There we go. So many clicks. We had the situation, where do we read about actually deserializing those? Low dependency injection testing, cervix set the files. I guess not here. Let's look at it at this from a different perspective. We have our habit, and this is JSON annotation. But also in our pub spec, we have defined, I guess, JSON serializable. Let's search for that. That's a Dart package. There we go. And we should have repository in GitHub. That should lead us to some kind of setup guide, right? Running code generator. There we go. Dart run build runner build. That's what we need. So let's actually throw it in here. Commands. Okay, we're gonna add a command. We'll call it rebuild or like regenerate JSON serializable. Go to our code gen. And that'll be it. All right. So we can probably paste it here. And let's see if it actually builds it. Bam, bam, bam. It did something. So the generated one now has the created that, updated that, and all that stuff. Looks like it regenerated it. So let's see if we can run the whole thing again. And this time we can. And this time it's listing on port 8181. Ooh, why is that? I don't have anything running on 8080. So that's new. 81, 81. Missing on invalid authentication code. No error here. No, this is 8080. We have Dart VM service listening. Oh, geez, I'm not reading correctly. Sorry about that. I absolutely hate this browser. This is like the see that it just stays like that. I can't get back to this link. Refresh. Now I needed to refresh the page. Oh, I can't get a habit. Oh, API habit, right? There we go. Okay, look at that. Looks like everything got properly serialized. Wow. Okay, so we got it straight from the database here. We got our created ad as our random strings, right? We got everything. All right. So that's great. But the thing is that now we want to, like our front end doesn't really care about when it was created. It doesn't care when it was updated, right? And the other thing is we don't want to provide the actual database ID to the front end either. So what we want to send is just the name and just the description. And that's it. So as fun as it is to simply this is too large for me. As fun as it is to simply go yellow and hey, paste everything, right? Serialize everything we got from the database. It's not a good practice. So we need to kind of turn it into some kind of simpler data in here. And for that, we can basically, in our models, we can basically create habit DTO. New file, habit, let's say DTO or something, Dart. And let's actually do it even nicer. In models, we're going to create a folder responses, okay? And here will be habit response DTO. Whatever. It's ugly, but it's gonna work. So for that, let's just grab this and we're just gonna make it slimmer. We don't care about any of those. Bam, gone. Name and description. That's the only thing we want. For manual one, we don't need any of those. Okay. And wherever we have habit, we want to make it habit response DTO. Spin is asked, what is that import 8181? Oh, it's like a debugger. I haven't ventured into that. But yeah, it will be cool to see it as a debugger because it's like for the VM of the language, right? Okay, so we've got this, we've got that, and why is it so upset? All final variables might be initialized. Oh yeah, we don't care about any of those. All we care about is the name and description and the ability to call habit to JSON, right? So this will be habit response DTO. We can save it. Now we need to actually rerun our generation, which is a little bit annoying, but it's okay. And now in here, we can bring in import package habit tracker API models, and this will be the responses. There we go. Wow, this looks so ugly. Dart.io, unused import. Great. Unused import, models habit. We'll hold on to that one. And sort alphabetically, which will be this. Okay. So in our get habits, we want to basically create the habits from this data. So how do we do that? I think we can just do final habits is, for now, let's actually specify it here. That's going to be a list of habit response DTO. Okay. And what we're going to do is data. Do we have map? Yeah, we can do map, right? Where we're gonna get existing. I think we need to have it in parentheses. Habit, and we just create a new habit response DTO.manual, and we'll be able to put stuff here. Do we even need that manual one? Because this is literally the same as that. So screw the manual one. We don't need it. Isn't defined for the type habit response DTO. How so? Oh. Response DTO. There we go. Overcomplicated. I guess it's because if we had multiple things in a single file, it could work. Huh. So it could be beneficial for us to, whenever we define our normal habit, have the DTOs right after that. Maybe we're gonna do that. How about that? I kind of like that. So yeah, let's try that. We're gonna copy this, throw it in here as the response DTO. Okay. We have it here, habit response DTO, so we can straight up delete this whole thing. Rerun our gen for the stuff. So this will start working. There we go. Okay. That's a little bit better. All right. I don't like this color theme. Maybe there's something better. But yeah. Okay. That is much better. And therefore, we don't do that anymore. We just import habit and we already have the type. So let me just kind of reformat it because this looks like a gigantic mess. And here, the whole idea is that we'll need to extract the name and description from this data, which is dynamic. So we take the habit, which is dynamic, dot name as string, and then we're gonna do habit dot description as string. And this might not be happy. A value of can be assigned variable of list. Oh, and right, because we do the map, right? So I'll do a little bit more nicer. Data dot map. We do the map here and dot to list. And that should take care of it, right? It shouldn't complain about that anymore. We don't do the manual one. Name is required, but there is no corresponding argument. Try adding required argument. Habit response DTO. We have name and description. Oh, these are like named ones. So the name is this, and the description is this, and we need a trailing comma, and there we go. Wait, trailing comma, not for this. Need it for this. There we go. No, actually both need that. Oh dear. Sure. That is so weird of those trailing commas. So now this method invocation or property access on a dynamic target. Try giving a targeted type. Well, I guess here I could say that the habit is, what do you call it? A map. But let's just see. Can I do this? It's probably be even worse. Yeah. Because the habit, as far as I know, is just a, what do you call it? A map of map between string and another dynamic. So let's just do another map. We're just gonna two-stage thing. No, we're gonna do it properly. Single thing. Let's call it H for the sake of brevity, and then we're gonna do final. Habit is H as map between string and dynamic. That should keep it happy. Now this is not happy because we need to close this thing eventually. We've got this, that, and we're gonna return this thing. After which we can close this and do this magic thing. Oh, that already looks better. And here, the getter name isn't defined for the type map string. So all we need to do is this ugly thing and this ugly thing. There we go. That was less fun than I expected, but good thing is something we can copy paste later and never worry about again. So now, because, you know, this actually always returns that list, we can get rid of this. It's already implied. And we can provide habits data rather than anything else. Beautiful. And because we'll be iterate over it here, I don't think we need to explicitly convert it to a list either. So yeah, we might save ourselves some step. CPN says, why not just make a function that queries the data from the DB and returns it as type data? I mean, our query could be a little bit nicer, right? Rather than selecting everything, we could just select whatever we need to. That's a good point. But at the same time, I want to see about that. Because eventually I can see it, you know, as the app grows, sometimes instead of just having a query, you would have actual repository pattern, where you have a little bit less specialized getters, and you just filter some out data in here for the sake of simplicity. But yeah, good point. Something I missed completely. So now there was a big problem with the database. Okay, all right, a big one. It didn't show up here. So there was a big problem. That means something absolutely threw something here. So I presume that the problem is with that. So let's do as an E, I guess, and we can do print database, whatever, error. Can we just do that? Will it let me print it? Refresh. Converting object to an encodable object failed. Instance of mapped list iterable dynamic habit response DDO convert. What the hell? I hate those kinds of errors. Mapped list iterable. I wonder if we don't get a line, of course. How about for now we just do rethrow and see what happens, okay? This might actually give us the line so that we can focus on what matters. 70. That's response. No, I want my habit dart. So this is the part. So it looks like we can take whatever this returned and just magically make it work. So I wonder if we really need this to list to actually make it work, because yeah, that was it. So we have to convert it to a list because our default serializer or something just can't deal with, I guess, iterable of a map list. So there's like some more dynamic thing here going on. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's great. Okay. Yeah. So in theory, what CPN suggested is that instead of doing what are we doing here, we could simplify it. So let me just get this commented out. We'll have our thing to return data. And instead of select everything, we're gonna select name, description from habit. There we go. And that's it. That might be it. Oh, so funny. Refresh. Look at that. Works as well. We even have it ordered alphabetically. So CPN, I like your approach a little bit more. But I'm gonna leave that code commented out, because we might need it in the future. And I don't feel like dealing with figuring it out again. Okay, so that works. That means we can probably go to our front end already. What was it? npm run dev. Come on. 5173. Not this. I keep always just running Control-C to copy, and it'll take me a while to finally get around and not doing that anymore. Okay, we go back here, and look at that. We've got our habits all from the database already fetched. No problem. Beautiful. And in theory, later when we click details, we'll be able to display or edit the description itself and not just see the title. Okay, so now let's go to the functionality of adding a habit, because that will be just another query, right? Right now we have it commented out, so let's make it work. So on post habit, we want to extract the body, extract the name. Okay. We'll later also add the, to do accept description. Okay. And because we need to be ready that it might be empty, so that will be another little challenge. We won't be checking if the name exists yet, because maybe it doesn't exist on a server. It looks like it's on the front end. We don't want to cause those problems. So now we just need to replace this whole add habit with actual query to the database. So we can simply do, hey, let's extract the database from here. Okay. And then we're going to do the query. And because I don't like running the built-in, what is it? db.create or something. I want just raw queries. We're gonna write our own. So it'll be create. Now it will be habit. And we're gonna set something. So set name is name. Description is description. And that will be it. Okay. The thing is that now we can provide the actual additional data, because this single query can accept also a map of strings or whatever. Do we have to specify it by name? No, I guess we can just provide a map. So something like a name could be habit name. Habit name we got from here, right? And for now, the description will be just empty string. Okay, that will be our default. I mean, in theory, we don't even have to provide it here. So that's it, because it already has a default value. So let's just do that. And this doesn't like this thing. Can I escape it? I can, but it suggests use raw string. How do raw strings work? Do I do like at or something? No. Okay, let's learn about raw strings in Dart. NCPN says you can control click links in VS Code terminal to open the browser. And yeah, I can, but that will open it in Chrome on my right screen. I want to copy it so I can switch to a different desktop on the left screen and just paste it in. It's just dealing with live streams. Yeah, there's no SQL injection here, really, because we're gonna pass it as a parameter, and that will automatically, what was the word? You know, take care of it, take care of all the edge cases. Here's Dart documentation, right? Can we search it for raw string? Use raw string, analyzer. So how about we go back? We have core libraries, which is that. Do we have like the actual language specification? But let's look at language cheat sheet. String interpolation, right? That's our problem. That's what is happening. We want to prevent it. So that's not it. Do we have like a string interpolation, null values, conditional property, blah, blah, blah. No. Specification for Dart 3. Wow. How many pages is that? 263. Raw string? Non-raw string. That's not the one we care about. Wait, I search for stuff. Oh, there it is. String interpolation, non-raw strings, non-raw. Raw string is page 110. Like otherwise, /k indicates the character K for whatever. and a string to be prefixed with the character R, indicating that it is a raw string, in which case no escapes or interpolations are recognized. There we go. So we just throw an R in front and it's raw. And there we go. Beautiful. That's good. So that should make it work. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right, so that should take care of insertion in there, right? We don't need this anymore. We're not created that manually or anything. The only thing was we want to see if the query actually succeeded. So if query results dot is okay, we're gonna do our response, right? Wait, we need to do this fun magic with those. Otherwise, otherwise we're gonna say that it's your fault, okay? No, let's do fail to insert whatever, create habit. Whatever, doesn't matter, this name, it's pointless. All right, at least we have a different error here than it was here. In theory, we could create some kind of query here that will return us the problem proper error or something. We could query whatever the query result is and extract data from there, like, hey, there was a problem with this field, right? We could run that here, but no, thank you. This is not production code. Okay, we have a to-do, which, what is the Flutter style for to-do comments? Ignore Flutter, well, that's still in the solutions. Can I do this? No. I don't care about Flutter right now. Screw you. All right. Let's see if it works. Let's make sure this is up to date. We go to our app. So loading still works. Add habit, ABC 1 to 3. This failed. So let's see if it shows anything here. 400, bad request. And should tell us unsupported method. Oh, that's right, because we still have this little part uncommented. Or commented out, whatever. So that's that. And this should go here. Now it's upset because alphabetically, and now it's upset because unused import. There we go. So yeah, I just don't like that this just froze and didn't revert back to normal. You have it, and now the app is broken, see? Not good. ABC 1 to 3. Now it worked, right? We've got our ABC 1 to 3. I don't know why it's here, but it is here. So let's just quickly go to our select and actually add sorting. So in our database, when we do select, we should have option for some kind of order by. There we go. So we can just do order by name of field in either ascending or descending. And because our name field is unique, we can just do sorting just by that, and it will be always fine. So order by can be, I guess, after everything. and will be ordered by name. This is already upset about that, which is upsetting. I mean, in theory, we can just do this. I just don't know how to make it work. Yeah. Whatever. Linter, I don't care about you. Order by name, and this will be ascending. Okay? Just to be explicit. So that should fix our problem with these being out of order. We refresh, and there we go. We have very strange sorting. It's sorted capital characters first, and then we have sorted by lowercase characters. Okay, that is a little bit unexpected. How about we get actual like proper sorting? What the heck? Sort records SurrealDB allows ordering on multiple fields and nested fields. Use order by. Great. The collate keyword can be used to Unicode collation when ordering tasks. Different cases and different languages are sorted in a consistent manner. So do we have this? We just throw in collate. And refresh. And there we go, problem solved. T is after S, so we're good. So if I'm going to add habit, which will be Wolala, it should be all the way at the end. And there it is. Beautiful. Okay, this works. And Mohammed says absolutely nothing. Messages were retracted. By the way, hello. And CPN says, okay, gotta go now. Mind up here later. All right, see you. This stream won't be long today, so we might be finished relatively soon. I would actually enjoy something shorter for a change. Because some of those live streams are just going. Not used to do it every day yet. Okay. So we have data retrieval and we have data uploading. No problem. This works. But I would like to still redo the scenario where the post just doesn't exist because our code here in React just breaks. Add new habit and there's just nothing. Just freaks out. So why is that? Because we got 400. I thought we were detecting errors. So this is not main page. This is the new React, the new habit dialog, right? So the moment we click handle new habit, is saving initiated? So we said that, okay, the saving is initiated and we hit save habit. And the save habit is the mutation, right? So we just initiate the mutation and that's pretty much it. And because our saving initiated is true, the use effect will start reacting because the save habit will initiate that is pending, is true. Therefore, this will try to do like this one. We'll try to see, okay, if saving initiated is not true, just return and don't do anything. Otherwise, if it's pending an error, just say, hey, sorry. I mean, if it's not pending anymore and we had an error, right? Because did save fail is error. We should do set this error and then set this to false. So I wonder if we do error detected, okay? Because that's what we should get. And I'll just throw in some exclamation marks to make it visible. And this will be everything went okay. All right, so that's that. And the is saving initiated will be set to false only when one of those actually goes through. So let's go back to our app and see what is happening behind the scenes. Refresh. Let's switch to console. We do this, something, add. Error detected, right? So it detected the error. And what should happen is that set this error should run to true, and is saving initiated should be set to false. So, oh, I think I know what's going on. So let's do set this error. What is set this error? We are saving this use state of is error, right? So in our thing here, we can see that if it's not pending anymore and there was no error, we render the thing, right? So that's great. But I guess we don't have pending anymore, but we have error. So this won't display. Then we have, if it's still pending, do this. So I believe what is happening is that we don't have pending anymore, but the is error still exists. So in theory, we don't even need this. Let's set this error. We don't need that at all. We can, whatever, delete this whole thing. And now we'll have errors pointed out like, wait, what did I delete there? Undo, undo. Is open. Oh, yeah. Ignore. And this should, in theory, reset too, I hope. So we'll see. But we've got that. And because we remove this, we also look at this. And let's see. Now we have this. Instead of is error, we'll have did save fail. And that's a culprit here. If it's not pending, we go here anyway. No matter if there's error or not, we'll just go here. All right. So let's see what this looks like. Something tells me, oh, I mean, it already shows habit with this name already exists. That's good. Let's refresh and try it. Bam, add. And right now it thinks that there was a problem because of stuff. It doesn't recognize that that this is a bad request. I mean, it shows a bad request because it says, hey, you can't post. We're not recognizing those different types of errors at this moment. But that's good enough. That's good enough, right? So our front end should work now. So let's go back here and re-enable our post. And it should just work. I don't care about sending proper error codes to display stuff here right now. You know, I just want things to start working. We can make them perfect later. We add, and there we go. We added. And because we refresh or whatnot, even if we restart the front end, it's all good because now the data is straight in here. In our Explorer, we can see that we have many random things with like voila and all that stuff. So that all that one here, I can probably just select everything, delete records, and let's see what happens if we're gonna try to reload the app now with absolutely no record. Wow, this is already reloaded. So refresh. There we go, nothing. Any errors in the front end? No. So everything works as supposed to. Nothing here. So how about we add a message here saying that, you know, in case there are no errors, I mean, no habits, we at least show a message like, hey, there are no habits, add your first one. So this will be in our main page. What's going on here? In the main page, we are displaying the actual list of habits, right? Yep, rendered habits. We're actually displaying it right in here. Eventually, we might want to actually make it into a separate, what do you call it? Into a separate component, but we don't have to yet. Because, this isn't very complicated. Although this starts to be longish here with all this stuff. So we have our habits, right? And our render habits is just a map of stuff. So let's add a thing here. If habits dot length, we don't have that. What is habits? Habits is any. Whoa. Any map of habit, and we basically return. I mean, we return maps here. Otherwise, is this. So really, maybe new date. So wait, what? So we get data as in, wait, this is add mutation? No, habits. I'm gonna have it that. This is habit data. Okay. This is getting it from our backend. So in here, our habits, we get the data from the backend, right? If there is data, we're going over every whatever habit from that data. We say this is name and this is entities. Oh, as in history entries. And we sort them by date. There are none right now, so we just get an empty list, right? But otherwise, the habits is empty list, right? So I could kind of, I am sure that this is a list. I forgot that we don't have typing here, right? So if habits dot length is whatever, it's larger than 0, right? We're gonna do this. Question mark. Okay. All right. Like this is good enough. Otherwise, we're going to simply return something like, I don't know, a paragraph, because that should be good enough. And we're gonna say there are no, or like you're not tracking any habits. Yes, yet. Use the, what is it? Add habit button above to add your first habit. Let's save that. And in theory, it should already work. There we go. Beautiful. I don't like that this just has different font than this. I wonder why that is, because I would like it to have proper font. What if I'm just gonna make it span? Nope. How do we do that here? What was it? 98.css. Save the intro. Right. Then we straight up have the components. This and that. I'm being pressed. We have the checkboxes, options. But what about just text? I guess we can't do that. We can't display just text. Title bars, all that works. Oh, in a window, it shows stuff. Okay. So I wonder if we can just put a style on entire page or something. How does that work? Inspect. because I presume this whole page is made of that. So there's just, this is a paragraph. Where'd it go? Okay, paragraph. This is title bar, window, and this is just example. So the class would need to be window. And I think we can just have that style for whatever, however we want it. So what is going to happen if I'm going to go to something like the overall app? This main page. In the main page, we just have this thing. How about we do something like this? Div. Our main page will go here, and a div will just class name window. Save. Is that what we're supposed to do? Just class name window? Oh, okay. We've got some progress. Although it made the whole thing look very strange. What the heck? Wow. Style. Let's just do some test first. And style will have I think this is margin. None. Wait, I need to do this. No. What is its problem? Parsing error, unexpected token. I need this double or something like that. Was that it? Yep. Whoa. Where is it? I have so many desktops. No. Unterminated. There's the second one. But it was single margin, not margins. Didn't change it. So let's inspect it. Let's see what the hell's going on here. Got our span, we've got our this, and class window. So it shows as margin 0. Oh, the root has padding. No, it's body. Body has the margins. I see. I see. So let's go here to our, where's our HTML here? Body style is this, and we can do more margin 0. So something like the window here probably doesn't need anything. Okay. This is already better. Good. I don't mind having this thing around the whole thing. That's fine. The only thing is that for this specific window, I want actually padding to be that 8-pixel thing. And this way, everything should look the way it was so far. That's good. Kind of. I don't like the fact that we have this border because it doesn't span everything. I wonder if we can do something like height is whatever. One vertical view. Wait. This seems like a hack. I don't want to do that. What is that class window? What does it do overall? Because we've got this thing. I want to see the class window. It does background, box shadow, right? And that's it. Oh. Okay. What about our font? I mean, that's not too long. What is setting the font? Font family, all that stuff. Right, font face, there we go. The body has font family Arial. How about... So what, we're not... Oh, because something tells me we're not applying the style globally or something. Let me just see. Did we... But we put it in the index, right? The index has... Yeah, the index has this listed already. So why do I have to set this manually if this already tries to set something? For the body. And not this one, this one. Inspector body. It tries to do that. So, oh, I see. This is color. This is not background color. That's what it is. Font family is supposed to be Arial. So let me just get rid of this class here. So, oops. So that we have it the way it was before, right? This is the way it was before, roughly. So what if I'll unselect this? Whoa, this is something different. So in theory, I could just change it to be this pixelated thing by default for absolutely everything. And we should be set. Because what, style editor? The body has this, well, we should use this thing. But how on earth are we supposed to use font face? Because where are we actually using it? This is font style, source. We define those fonts here. How do we select between them? Is it just this that we have pixelated? Tree view, font family. So what if I changed this? It looks like it's somewhat working, right? We've got everything. So I think we can just literally copy paste it and just override it here. So in our body, we have style this, that, and now we're just gonna throw in this part. Save it. Refresh our thing completely. It kind of works, but we still have our window applied. So let's go to our app. Is it app? Yeah. In our app, we're gonna get rid of this for now. Let's see. We still have a font. Good. So in our, what is it? Now in index, we had the margin 0. We can get rid of that. We return it back to normal. And magically, we have everything the proper setup. Okay, good. So now when we add our first habit, like eat, yeah, that's our habit. Okay, there we go. When we go to the database and remove it, and refresh, there we go. It's empty. Beautiful. Okay, I like that. We solved some kind of weird problem, and I am happy about that. So in theory, we have everything that we wanted to accomplish today. We've got our, our database set up, at least for holding the habits, right? We have our actual schema defined here, which is beautiful. We get and save data to and from the database. We propagate it to our front end, where we don't get any extra information that's unnecessary. And even fix some bugs with error handling and with displaying stuff. So I think we're done for today. I think this is good progress. And tomorrow we can start thinking about, when we have some kind of habit, we want to be able to actually start putting, logging entries. Because that means that we'll be in the database, we need to sort out history, be able to retrieve it relatively simple. Like, we have 30 habits here. We want to, for each one of them, get at least those 10 entries. And therefore, be able to kind of display it here. And of course, the log entry, which will be, I presume, another dialog box, which will be relatively simply now that we have some practice with that. And yeah, that's it, right? So that will be the goal for tomorrow. It will be interesting, and that will move us a little bit more forward. So that will be it for tonight, for today. It's not tonight, it's morning. Wow. Yeah, thank you for watching. It was fun, and see you tomorrow morning.